Good morning, y'all. It's Cody. Cody's Bait and Tackle, Warsaw, Missouri. Gonna give a little bit of a fishing report on what I seen this week up on Truman Lake of the Ozarks. I haven't heard anything further down on Lake of the Ozarks, but on this upper end, there's been a bunch of white bass coming up late of an evening, early of a morning. Several guys chasing them, few hybrids caught out of them. Did see some probably 4 or 5 pound ones that had been caught. Nothing big down there. Heard the catfish bites pretty good right now out of a boat. Off the bank down below the dam, there's been some pretty good catfish caught this week. Fresh cut shad, perch, drum, anything fresh on them catfish. As far as on the white bass and hybrids down there, rooster tails, small jigging spoons, something small. They're busting them little 1 to 2 inch shad right now, so that's kind of what they're wanting down there below. Been quite a few walleye caught this week down there, just vertical jigging behind the bridge pillars, on the edge of the current seams on some of the shallower mud flats in the middle of the river when they're running a couple of turbines. That's been working pretty good. A few guys down there pulling crankbaits. Haven't heard of any flathead coming out or anything down there like normal, but I'm sure they're there. The drift bite, just vertical drifting down there, is decent of a morning. Fresh cut shad, perch, like I said. As far as off the bank down below the dam, I did hear a few reports of some limits of crappie coming out after dark. So that's something we hadn't been hearing much this summer. Just heard that yesterday, so that's a plus. Minnows and jigs after dark, so that's what I heard. And that was on the rocks, that wasn't over in the backwater. So as far as up on Truman, catfish, driftfish on the main lake, 15 to 25 foot of water is where most of blue cat I'm seeing are, and channel cat. If you guys like channel cat, all them shallower humps right now, 15 to 20 foot of water are just loaded with channel cat. I've never seen so many of them. I think because a lot of people don't keep them anymore, they're just flat taking over. You'll come across some schools of fish that look like white bass right on the bottom, just mounds of fish, and it's all little 1 to 2 pound channel cat. I've seen more this year than I've ever seen in my life up there, so it's kind of crazy. White bass are starting to school up a little bit on some of the humps. I've seen some pretty good schools this week. As far as hybrids, they've been pretty spotty in places. The bite's definitely better mid to late day. Early mornings, I had a few mornings had a good bite. Up on KK Island, yesterday morning they actually blew up right above the dam before 6 o'clock. I was trying to put my boat in and they was busting out there. By the time I got the boat in, they was done. There's been some fish over on G4. They're kind of scattered out, scarce, hard to stay on. Same way with KK. Them fish have been real hard to stay on this week. Early in the week, it was pretty good and consistent. You'll find them for 20 minutes or so, and then they're gone. Can't find them again. Then they'll just pop up somewhere else. Kind of the way the hybrids have been right now. They're pretty hard to target unless they run quite a bit of water. You can get up there above the dam and catch them pretty good on the weir. I am going to say on the hybrids, if what you're doing isn't working, your own fish, keep changing it up. I can't stress that enough, even with catfish. You know, I watch people all week. I fished around a lot of people. I fished the weir quite a bit, which I normally don't fish. A lot of people sitting there right beside me not catching a fish, and we're just sitting there hammering them. Switch up what you're doing. If you're watching somebody catch fish, change what you're doing until you start catching fish. You know, that's how most people learn. That's how, when I go down to the Gulf, go fish off the beaches and stuff, I watch people. Anywhere new I go, I watch people and learn. Your people that fish a lot, they're going to know how to catch them. One of the older guys that I know pretty good, hybrid fishes up on the lake. He was up there a couple days ago, and we was catching fish, doing all right. He pulled up beside me, and I absolutely, I knew there was fish there, but he was hooking a hybrid every single cast as fast as he could cast. Uh, and even I watched what he was doing, changed baits. I hadn't got hit on chartreuse all this year, hardly at all. I had a couple days I caught a few fish on it, not a lot. That day and ever since, I've been throwing chartreuse and white. That's what he was throwing. He was throwing a heavier head than me. He was working it a lot faster. But he was catching a hybrid every single cast. I was catching one every other or every third cast, fourth cast. So even I learned. I change. If I see somebody catching more fish than me, I'm going to adapt and try to do the same thing. A lot of people just get stuck. Even people that come in the shop, they get stuck with what they have in their head they think is going to work. It don't always work. I haven't caught fish hardly at all this summer doing the same thing 2 days in a row. Pretty well, especially the same exact spot doing the same thing 2 days in a row. This week, even up on the weir, one day I'll hammer them on live bait, and next day they don't want live bait, they want artificials. We did catch fish on artificials all week long. Had one day I think it was last Sunday, we just absolutely hammered them on topwater. Couldn't go wrong. They busted and busted and busted and busted. And there was boats out there driving all around them. They didn't care. They just kept busting for quite a while. We caught probably 15 fish on topwater. So, and that was only day. I haven't had a topwater bite since. But you never know what the fish are going to do. Same way with the white bass. I had a couple days. I didn't see much busting out on the main lake. Some of the bigger coves like Osage Bluff, Turpin Branch, it was cloudy, overcast. Them fish busted all day long. On and off, right on the points of the cove, back in the pockets, they'd push shad up there and just keep busting. And then several days I never seen a white bass bust. So it's really inconsistent and you can't pattern it right now. Catfish are staying pretty consistent. Crappie they're where they're going to be till fall. They are schooled up on the brush, and there's some still out chasing the big bait clouds. You can pull crankbaits right now and still catch a few crappie. But if you can find some of them brush piles, I've seen some in, 6 to 14, 15 foot of water that look like a giant ball of shad, and when you get up there and look at it, it's actually a tree with a mound of crappie around it. Just a giant ball of crappie. A lot of them, when you get into them ones that are really piled up like that, drop minnow or jig, either one on them. If you catch 3 or 4 short fish in a row, just jump to the next brush pile you can find. A lot of the time right now, if you fish the ones that's full of short fish, that's mostly what you're going to catch. Some of them I've seen, you can tell they won't have quite as many fish on them, but they're better fish. So that's kind of what I've seen on the crappie side right now. As far as standing timber, I've seen some standing timber like on channel swings and stuff like that that's got quite a few fish on it. I've heard kind of that mid-lake. Some of them fish are still on the timber, like buried in the mud, up shallow. So there's crappie in quite a few different patterns right now. I haven't heard anything at all other than catfish on the upper lake, like Sparrowfoot, deep water up in there. I think they're catching catfish pretty good drift fishing up there. And even anchor fishing. I've heard of some people anchor fishing catching them up there. So that's a good sign. Last summer was pretty slow up in that area, so this summer's picked back up a little bit. Had more water up there, so that's probably helped. A lot of water flow in the lake this year. Looks like we got more rain coming in this week, maybe. Truman is back down to about normal. It's 706 something right now, so it's getting back down to normal. Fish should kind of steady out now as long as the lake don't come back up some. These cold fronts here, they kind of mess with the fish a little bit, but Last year before, we've had cold fronts in July. Last several years, changed fish patterns a little bit, and then as soon as the water gets back lined out and warms back up, they all get back on the same pattern. So far, I haven't really seen a lot of change this week. The cold fronts haven't messed them up that much. You'll have a day you'll catch a lot of blue cat, next day you'll catch a lot of channel cat, fishing the same spots. So they're just roaming around, moving. That's about all I've got for you guys. I do want to mention a few things here. We are still having our kids' crappie and catfish tournament. We're not getting hardly any kids in here for that. So if you guys want to see us do it next year, bring some kids in. Get their picture taken. Get them a prize. We still got some prizes. Pretty well, most of the kids that have come in multiple times. Wade fishing 1 month, wade fishing the next month. Not getting a lot of new kids in. And I know there's kids out there fishing. So that's on the parents and grandparents to bring them in here, weigh their fish. That's about all I've got to say on that. I'm not going to get into it too deep. I get a lot of kids in the shop that catch fish, don't get them brought in here, and it's not their fault. So that kind of irritates me some. But that's about it. I'm going to get off here real quick, so my phone's ringing inside the shop. But good luck, y'all. Get out there, fish. If it ain't working, change it up. Have a good one, and good luck to you. Thank you.